Hey everybody, it's Moonbo here, and welcome back to more Scrap Mechanic. You know, the kind that's totally endless. So, in today's episode, I am going to be showing you guys an awesome futuristic jet that I had made during a stream last week. Of course, there will be another stream tomorrow, and I made a futuristic jet. It's absolutely fantastic, and I put it in this really cool hangar because I figured, you know what, I can't just show this jet alone. The jet's so cool that it needs something cool to go with it. So there's this hangar as well, so there's a link in the description, guys, for the world download for this hangar. Really excited to show it to you. And I'm also just going to talk about a couple things with a few of the things that I've been working on in Scrap Mechanic in this video, so make sure you listen in so I can explain a few things while we go through these cool builds. So how about we check out the hangar and the futuristic jet? So the first thing I'm going to point out, of course, is the outside here. You can see this part of the hangar is just like an entrance way. So this is like a wireway system right here, and incidentally, you can actually see it goes up and over and around and then right through the building. So I wanted to add like a little bit of layers to this build. So we'll head into the front door here. You can see it's very futuristic looking. This is the Portals block mod available on the Steam Workshop. I really like this mod for the futuristic sci-fi look. We got a couple windows here to our right so we can see outside, and some pretty nifty lighting. And right here you can see there's a really cool display case that is storing some type of kit bag or pack right here, and you can see this is like a futuristic weapon. Look at that, it even has a laser sight on it. Absolutely amazing, guys. These mods, you can do anything with them. So this is the entrance to the hangar. You can see there's the wireway that I mentioned. It actually goes out and down and around, so it kind of just connects to a few parts of the building. So here you can see this is the entranceway. So this is another sliding door. Now, I made a sliding door like this in the aircraft carrier. I don't know why I couldn't click that, jeez. So I was making an aircraft carrier, and guys, I have to mention, I might not be able to work on it anymore because the world got pretty messed up after making some glitches, accidentally, of course. So I'm hoping I might be able to return to those. So we are going to just close that. I'm just going to bring the crosshair up here. So right here you can see this is like a control station. There are a few switches right here that control a couple things. This one right here is the main lighting inside, so you can see now that this awesome sci-fi jet is totally lit up. So I'm just going to kind of do a quick little walk around here. You can see this jet is really cool. I had a lot of fun making it in the stream. There was a lot of people hanging out and giving me loads of suggestions, and honestly, I'm so happy with it, guys. But now, before we get right into that, I'm going to finish showing you guys the hangar so we can get the full experience here. So you can see there's some Ike tools over here, kind of like workbench area, but I mean, this thing never needs any maintenance. It's perfect. And just a few windows over here. I was hoping I was going to get some natural lighting in here, but I realized the sun is over there, so there's no natural lighting in here, but that's alright. That's why I put those large lights around the outside there. And I'm going to turn those off because we are going to open up the main bay door here. So this is a massive rooftop, and the entire thing opens up. And you might be wondering how I did that. So if we press that there, you can see there's some emergency lighting that lights up, and the entire top lifts up with just one single arm. Now, the funny thing is, the reason why I can't work in the aircraft carrier world anymore is because of using these specific blocks. So if you go into the inventory, you can see in the mod there is an ultralight block. If you use those and weld with them and stuff, the worst things happen because my trailer truck that I was working on, it was going to use that as well, and it flew away. It just totally destroyed itself. So I might be able to get those back. I really hope I can, but I'm definitely going to keep working on the other projects that were alongside those ones. So you can see there, the entire thing is open now. It's a massive rooftop, and we can actually get in here and fly away. So there, that's just like a close-up of the light. So what I did with this was I hooked it all up to this little bit of a logic system here. So you hit the switch, and it activates a timer, and once the timer reaches the end, it'll terminate the entire sequence and turn it all off again, and that works in sequence with this controller right here. So like I said, this is all ultralight blocks, and you can see it's just absolutely massive, all held on by single bearings like that, and it's just finally being able to use the ultralight blocks in a way that doesn't break the game. So I'm really happy about that. But enough of that, let's hop into this sci-fi jet. Alright, so I like to hop up on the wing here when it's inside the bay. Now, normally you can see the red on that side and the red on that side there. Those are normally used as footsteps to get up on top, but because it's on this thing, I'll actually point out before we get in, you can see there's like a big wall right here, and that's to take this off of the ground. So when this is inside the hangar, it tends to lag, because you can see I have some relatively interesting landing gear that does cause some lag because of the bearings. So I put a little post there so we don't have any issues with that. So we'll just hop onto the wing, and we will get inside and get a little bit of a better view of this thing. So like I said, I'm so happy about it. Streaming this build, it was so much fun, guys. You had so much input, and I think because of that, it turned out much better. So you can see, though, that it has a lot more detail added to it, and we're going to get into the air, and of course, before we do that, we are going to turn the entire thing up to 90 so we can get the full view, and we are just going to take right off here. Let's do this. Alright, so you can see it has a relatively gentle lift, which is pretty much what I intended for, because I didn't want it to go too fast. So there you can see the landing gear is automatic. I didn't even have to do anything. It's all set up with some sensors on the bottom. And there we go. So we are now kind of just flying away. So it's a really neat, like, sci-fi jet. It turned out really well. You can see it's extremely easy to fly. You really only need to use A and D and 3 and 4. So we can kind of just fly around here real quick, guys, and after that I am going to run into a wall and recover out of that. There we go. So obviously the maps are still very small, guys. I tend to run into walls still every now and then, but let's turn the strict follow cam on. That is the best way to fly this plane. So we're going to do a couple little laps here, and then we're going to land right back into the hangar right there. Alright, so as you can see, it's extremely easy to fly. I do use both hands with the strict follow cam, but that's pretty much how most of my creations work. Now, before we do go right back into that hangar, I'm actually just going to land on the ground right here, guys, and just kind of give you guys a little bit of a talk about the entire build and kind of like the design principles a little bit. Alright, there we go. Safe and sound on the ground. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to mention here is you probably noticed this thing has a really cool kind of like cockpit window here that is attached to a sensor. So this was suggested to me in the stream. It was a fantastic idea. So obviously you can see once you get into the seat, the entire thing will close on top of you, and when you get out, it'll automatically open up. So you don't even have to press a button for that, which is absolutely fantastic. So as you can see, these wings, if you notice during the flight, you might have seen it, they are on a bearing, so you get that like nice, I think it's like a 7-degree slope on that. It's a very subtle slope, but it definitely makes the build. And here, this is all sorts of mods, guys. I used the FLX Slopes as well as corner pieces, so it really did give a nice rounded effect to the nose here. We can actually probably just jump right up and get a little bit of a walk there. Maybe not. Actually, no, here, we can use the footstep that I was saying. There we go. Alright, so here you go. You can see that the mod pieces all work very well together. It made for a very sleek design. Oh, I just shut that on myself. Whoops. And here you can see I added more paint and a little bit more curvature to some things. And I really like this kind of tail section right here. If I jump down like so, you can see it's a really cool looking tail section. I made that like blue strip go right down the center here. And now this is a cool feature here. Now I was probably working on something here. So while we're here, why don't we replace that? There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Alright, so that's what it would normally look like, and there's kind of like a little bit of a hidden switch here. So this is how the passenger gets in. So you can see there is a second seat right there, with a hidden switch that you don't even see move when you press it. So we can hop into that seat, so you can take your friend around too, of course, because it is on the Steam Workshop, this entire build. And really cool view in here as well, so it's kind of fun to be able to fly around with a friend and take them for some crazy aerial maneuvers. So here, these are just like some jet air intakes on the front, which I thought was a pretty cool addition. And I just kind of added these things on the tips of the wings to make them look, I mean, a little bit more detailed. So yeah, so that's pretty much the entire build. Aside from that, guys, it's all modded thrusters. You can see there's quite a few inside here. They all do their purpose. If you do want to get an idea of how all of these thrusters actually work, then you should definitely check out the past stream. I'll put a link in the description so you can see me build it. You can kind of skip around in that video and hopefully learn a little bit about flying creations and scrap mechanic. So we are going to take back off into the air and we are going to bring this thing home. Let's do this. Alright, still in the strict follow cam. I'm going to use both hands on the keyboard. And we are going to do this without crashing. Alright, I think we're pretty lined up right now. I have a feeling this shouldn't be too bad. I might change the camera angle just a little bit like so. And bring the nose back down. Alright, there we go. So the idea is to land back on that post. So that way you don't lag too much once you get out. Alright, there we go. Perfect. I would say that's a perfect landing. So, well, let's shut this back down, guys, and close it up. Alright, there we go. Perfect. And we will turn the night lights back on again. There we go. It looks much better like that. So there you go, guys. It is a sci-fi jet with an absolutely cool hangar. I really do hope you enjoyed the video. And of course, if you did enjoy the video, then make sure you hit that like button. And let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this build. And of course, make sure you check it out on the Steam Workshop and get the hangar in the world download in the description. And of course, guys, if you haven't already subscribed for Endless Scrap Mechanic, you might as well do that too. You're going to get all sorts of cool builds all the time. So make sure you stay tuned and keep checking out the videos. And I will be seeing you guys in the next one. So bye for now.